Good evening, and welcome back to the Placid Plastic Podcast. I'm here with my host, David.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back.
All right, and I had an idea, and we've been talking a lot about video games.
Yes.
And I want to just a little bit away from there, to television.
Ooh.
So, would you say you have now this? We're gonna stick right now with Western television.
Okay.
Because we know there's a whole can of worms of Eastern television. If that sounds like a weird thing to say. I don't like saying that. But what would you say is your favorite show?
So, I'll give you two separate answers. I'm gonna do favorite cartoon, favorite Western cartoon, and then I'll do favorite not cartoon, with actual actors. So, with actual actors, my favorite cartoon show ever is either early season SpongeBob before the first movie, or Teen Titans from back in 2003. I loved both those shows growing up. My favorite non-cartoon show ever that I was wholly invested in up until a point, probably honestly The Walking Dead. And the reason is my dad and I, it was actually my dad that started watching The Walking Dead before I did, and he had gotten through season 1 and was just about to finish season 2 when I walked in one day, this late Sunday night, because they aired on Sunday nights. And it was, I guess, I don't know if it was the scene where all the zombies are pouring out of the barn, and then the daughter of one of the main characters that they've been searching for shows up, and she's a zombie. And that's like the first oh shit moment of the show ever. And I remember my dad was like, his mind was blown, because for the first half of the season, the big question is, where is this girl? And then to have her just randomly be there as a zombie is just like, wow, so she's been dead this entire time. And I got really hooked onto the show, and so I caught up. I spent that weekend watching the first and second season, and then my dad and I watched it every week, every Sunday night. So there's that kind of nostalgic memory of me doing that with my dad. And unfortunately, I stopped watching the show probably around the 6th season. I would say the 7th season, because that's when, spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen The Walking Dead, that's when Carl dies. And the reason why he died.
Carl dies?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I'll tell you why he dies. It's so in the comic, because the show's based on the comic.
Yeah.
On the comic, he survives till the end. He's there to the end of the series. Because the whole point of the comic was, the main part of the comic was Rick trying to keep his family alive.
Yeah.
And Carl turned into the main character at a certain point. The reason why he dies in the show is because the actor was turning 18. And when you go from a child contract to a full adult contract, you have to pay a substantial amount more money. And AMC didn't want to pay him that, so they just killed him off.
That's such trash, dude. I mean, I know they already deviated from the source material quite a bit in the first season alone. But man, I didn't expect them to kill fucking Carl.
Yeah, Carl dies, and he dies, and then Andrew Lincoln, Rick, he got tired of filming in Atlanta, and because two reasons. One, he got tired of filming because his family was all in Britain, and he got tired of going back and forth every season. And then he also got tired of being gross all the time, because it's The Walking Dead.
Covered in mud and shit.
Mud, fake blood, grime, and whatnot.
Rick
Grime, yeah. He got tired of all of that, so he did not renew his contract. So they quote unquote killed him off, but didn't kill him, so they could bring him back for movies. That never happened because COVID happened, and they canceled all of that. But yeah, they killed Carl, and Rick left, and those were the only two characters I cared about. And so I didn't care about Daryl. I didn't care about anyone else in the show, and so I just stopped watching. And I think my dad stopped watching around that time too, because he was in a similar boat. But up until that point, Walking Dead was my favorite live TV show. Now, I grew up watching Lost. I watched Lost, if you remember that.
Yeah.
with my family. We watched the entire series, and so that kind of has a special place in my heart. But I definitely think Walking Dead was the most I've ever been captivated by a show. I would even argue, because we talked about hot takes last time, I would say a hot take is that Walking Dead at its peak was better than Game of Thrones at its peak. I know for a lot of people that's a hot topic, but there was a point, and I was watching both shows concurrently. I would say I was definitely more invested in The Walking Dead when it was at its best compared to when Game of Thrones was at its best. And that's gonna be a hot take for a lot of people, because a lot of people think Game of Thrones is leagues better, and both shows ironically ended terribly. I would say Game of Thrones ended way worse than Walking Dead, because Walking Dead just kind of like fizzled out and like became irrelevant. But Game of Thrones had like all this stuff that they were building up to. The White Walkers, Jon Snow, Daenerys doing her thing, the dragons. They had all these storylines that they'd been building up for almost a decade, and then they all just ended extremely poorly. Yeah. I mean, you know how famous season 8 like is in terms of how terrible it was executed. And I remember reading online threads after each episode, seeing people's reactions to no, that can't be it. That just can't be it. That's not what they're doing. And then the realization that no, that's how they're ending the storyline, and everyone's like, oh my God, like in live real time, people being like, I can't believe after all these years, this is how they're resolving that.
All the stages of grief.
And I think that's why I think Game of Thrones ended way worse than Walking Dead, because Walking Dead just kind of turned into that show's still going? Okay. But Game of Thrones had all this hype, and everyone was way more upset with how it ended.
Yeah. It was.
But that's my TV hot take.
Man. So you've got. Oh God, what did you just early SpongeBob and
early
Walking
SpongeBob
Dead.
Before the first movie and Walking Dead.
Okay. You know, I tried to watch SpongeBob as an adult because I was bored, and I was like, I guess I'll start from the beginning, right? Because I'm used to watching all my shows from beginning to end. And I started it, and I was like, I don't like this. I'm done. And I didn't even, because the the very, very first set of episodes were they were half episodes that they would play directly after each other. So you'd have the first episode would be like, Sandy moves to town, and it's like 10 minutes, and then they cut to the second episode, and it's another 10 minutes, and they slap those two together, and you'd have a 20-minute double episode, right? So I went through like 4 of those, or 4 or 5, and I was just like, not feeling it, and I just stopped, and I cut. I now only ever see all the SpongeBob I know is from 1 or 2 VHSs I had as a kid that were a collection of episodes, and then memes.
Can I also give a runner-up? I think we were just talking about this the other day. I think the Eric Andre show might be a close second. I think in terms of how hard I've ever laughed at something, the Eric Andre show. I don't know if the audience has ever. I'm sure the audience has seen at least one meme from you've probably seen Bird Up or Let Me In, Let Me In. Yeah. I'm sure most of the audience has seen a meme or two from that show. That show is some of the most absurd, hilarious content I've ever seen on TV. It is so chaotic. I would definitely say, because I don't think, obviously it's not like as engrossing, quote unquote, as Walking Dead is.
Sure, yeah, it's not like plot heavy. You want to get
If you want a show where you just sit there and laugh your ass off, you can't go wrong with the Eric Andre show. I think that is just the most absurd comedy. I think the Impractical Jokers too. I haven't watched it in a while. I don't know if they're still going, but some of the early stuff from Impractical Jokers is really, really great. But yeah, Eric Andre show. If you guys in the audience haven't seen it, go on YouTube. Like all the videos on Adult Swim have millions of views. It's been going on for a decade. They actually just had the 6th season last month. But yeah, that show has quite a legacy of humor and well-known memes. So I would definitely put that as a runner-up. But I could definitely see how if you didn't, because SpongeBob's kind of one of those things where it's like you had to grow up with it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't really grow up with it, I think some of the humor might be lost on you. But it's kind of similar to how I feel about a certain anime wink, wink.
Oh yes. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
you have to grow up with it to really, have a huge liking for it.
Yeah, we'll get into that hot take of mine later.
Yeah, I think those two. What about you? What about in terms of, let's do a cartoon show for you and a live action show for you? What would your choices be?
Well, I can't. As a kid, I didn't have cable TV at all, right? So it was only a couple channels, and we had some bad reception. We didn't even have like an antenna plug that you could just plug into the TV. We didn't have that. So it was really just the thing you set on top of your TV and point in a direction until something comes in. So I watched a lot of South Park.
Okay.
And that was almost exclusively it. I caught a couple episodes of the original Pokemon Indigo League. But that was pretty much the extent of what I've seen. That was before that aired for some reason right before I had to go to school, so I never actually got to watch it. And South Park was late at night, and I've been a night person my entire life. So those would be the closest things I have to what I've watched as a child. But even so, that's not what I would choose as my go-to, or not my go-to. I don't rewatch stuff. My
not even anime
preferred. Not really. No. I've rewatched some movies that I haven't seen for over 10 years, but like as far as general things go, I rewatched plenty of stuff as a kid because we didn't have anything else, just the same Shrek DVD and Spaceballs. So I know those pretty damn well because that's all I would watch. And then some, old recorded VHSs when my parents had things that we could record on a VHS.
Yeah, the same way. My dad was obsessed with VHS and VHS recording.
Yeah, so I've watched my top 2 cartoons as an adult, which I don't know what that says about me, but it's going to be The Owl House and Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls being number 1. Owl House being number 2, just because it's got that nice story and depth. I'll say that there's a lot of aspects of it that are very, very cheesy. And so if I had more shows that I actually bothered to watch, it would probably be behind that too. Gravity Falls was just such a fun adventure. And the characters were all just so damn likable, which is also true for the Owl House. But I thought the cheese was a lot more toned down on Gravity Falls.
Now, unfortunately, I don't really watch TV anymore these days, so I have no clue what. I think I have an idea of what Gravity Falls is. I have no clue what the Owl House is. Owl
House is essentially a girl finds a door that leads her to an alternate world of magic and stuff. But it's not like your classic, oh, look, wizards and magic. It's like, no, this is a hellscape of magic. But it's fun. Oh. Like it's called the Boiling Isles because it literally rains boiling water. So it's so it's not supposed to be, oh, this is the fun, Harry Potter land. It's like, no, this is kind of a monstrous place. And that's kind of what makes it stand out and kind of what adds to what's good about it. But yeah, Gravity Falls is that similar idea of you're in this weird city, Gravity Falls, where strange things and the supernatural occur. And it's this big overarching mystery that, with just great characters. I don't know. It's hard. I can't explain it very well, but it was just very fun, and I enjoyed the whole thing. And the music, the theme song is just a banger. Yeah, so those would be my top 2s there.
Give me your TV hot take. Not anime yet, but just Western TV hot take, because I got a good one.
For a live action TV show. Oh, wait, hot take?
Yeah, hot take.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm skipping ahead. You didn't even give your live action TV show. I'm sorry.
That's part of the thing is I didn't really watch a lot of those, even when I had the chance, like on Netflix and stuff. Like I tried to watch Supernatural. I never finished it. I know a lot of people really like that one. But I could just never get past a certain point, and so I just ended up getting stuck there. Same thing with The Walking Dead. Like, I started it like twice, and I just couldn't stay interested long enough. That's probably when I started watching just a ton of anime, was around that same time. But you know what I watched a lot of?
What?
Gilmore Girls.
Really?
Yeah, mostly because my mom would watch it too, so I just kind of would sit around and be like, oh, I guess I'm watching this now. And I'd play like Minecraft or something in the background, and I got very invested into that, so I know a lot of it. I didn't watch the end of it, but I enjoyed that one too, because it's just, every character has some solid flaws, and no one's perfect, and I think that did a good job in creating I don't want to say a realistic, but an interesting character setting, because you kind of want to follow Rory. I think that's the girl's name. She's the main girl, and she's kind of selfish. So it's like she does things and she tries to be ignorant intentionally for her own benefit in a lot of scenarios, but she just can't make up her damn mind. It's kind of like Twilight in a way. Like you got Edward and what's his face, Taylor Lautner. I don't know what his character's name was. She can't decide which one she likes, and is like in the Gilmore Girls is like, you got I think Dean, who plays Sam in Supernatural, not Dean in Supernatural. And then you've got the bad boy guy, and they're both like actually nice guys, but a whole bunch of shit happens anyway. I watched that one a lot. I can't say that I was particularly like, this is such a good show, I love this, but it's what I had and what I saw that I actually could follow enough with. So that's gonna have to be there. That's gonna be that. That's my choice. I guess these Gilmore Girls.
Not bad, not bad. Okay, so TV hot take.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think Avatar: The Last Airbender is overrated.
Oh, you know what? I did enjoy that.
I think it was a decent show for its time. I think it is very overrated.
Okay.
I know, especially with the people that watched it when they were kids, they're our age now, they're grown up, they're in their late 20s. No, I think it's overrated. I think it was good for its time. I went back and watched some of it and I thought it was okay, but I also think just as a whole, it's just kind of now. We'll talk about this later, but I think anime just does what it tried to do better.
Well, I mean, it was based on anime. Like, that's the whole thing. I would say, actually, now that you've reminded me of it, that would be my number 2. Owl House would be 3rd. But I would say the beginning was not fun. I watched the first season and I was just not interested. I pushed through it because I knew there was really good moments and I wanted to get to those. So I don't know if it was seasons, but the book 4 was easily the strongest. It's the big finale. Like, everything built up to those moments, and it was fire. That shit was awesome. But like the beginning, you're like, all right, this kind of sucks, and then somewhere in the middle, you're like, oh, this is kind of interesting. But there was a lot of weird stuff that was just, you could solve this from actually using your words, and the fact that you're just not talking, creating this conflict is lazy, and I don't like that. But then again, the main character is 10. Or 110 if you want to be stupid about it. His mind is 10, and that's what matters. But it's not a perfect show, and it definitely has slow moments that aren't it's just a slog to get through. But the overall payoff, I think, does make a lot of it worth it. And you know what? I have a hot take. I liked Korra thoroughly.
Now that is a hot take.
I did. I thought it was the whole thing. I enjoyed watching all of it. The ending was weird, and the big giant Power Ranger thing, like the Megazord fight, was kind of out of place too. But it was still enjoyable, and I enjoyed it. the whole like I want to say subplot, but that's kind of a gratuitous statement of the Asami and Korra romance didn't exist. It was weird and completely out of place. They did a great job showing them growing together as friends, but when the romance part showed up, you're like, what? That didn't really fit. They didn't have, I don't know, like, if I have to refer to, like, the Owl House, the main character, Luz, and, what's her face? Amity. Like, they have a development that you see it. You see it on their faces, literally. They're drawing it with the little blush colors. You don't get that in the way Korra handled it. It was just like, yeah, these two are becoming good friends, and they're acting like good friends. That's all you see. You don't see any kind of, oh, do I? Do I not? How do I feel about this person? That's just not there. They have, like, regular people arguments. They all, like, with all the characters, they all do that. But it was just, I don't know. It was forced. It was very obviously forced. It's not going to make the show bad. It just felt very out of place. But overall, the show was good.
I'm so far behind on everything. You're listing all these characters' names, and I'm like, who?
Yeah, I kind of thought, but I figured I'd at least be specific to anyone who might know what I'm talking about.
You're saying that the romance in Korra was forced and came out of nowhere because there was no build up, and it literally was just like, oh, they're a thing now. And it's like, what?
Only to the to Korra and the other girl character, Asami, I think is her name. I don't remember.
Gotcha. But in this other show, Owl House, they did spend time building. Okay, so I see you're saying there's a difference. Okay, I get it. I got you.
Yeah, and I think either both characters are supposed to be pan or bi, whatever. And in Owl House, it's not. It's hard to say actually, because the only idea that you might think Luz actually likes guys is because in the beginning there's this muscular guy who tries to I don't know what his plan was actually, but he's like this big muscly attractive supposedly hero character, and I guess he's just like a psycho or something. I don't know. He gets arrested at the end, but Luz is like, ooh, hell yeah, like that's the most you get out of that. But Korra actually has a relationship with some of the other guy characters that develop and make sense, and it just didn't work that way for her last bit of relationship. And even so, like, there's no development, and it just kind of shows up. It's I'm pretty sure it's like the last thing that happens in the show is like this end credit scene kind of thing where like they kiss and hold hands or something, and you're like, what? I don't understand. Was this supposed to happen? Did I miss something? Like, I guess that works for them, and then they're happy, cool. But I didn't expect that to just show up without any development towards it. But
I see.
Anyway, we can move forward from that.
Well, yeah, I got a good topic for you. All right, the creators of this game, Placid Plastic Duck.
Oh yeah.
Contact you.
Oh, yeah. So we're hypothetical.
Yeah, that's hypothetical.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have prefaced. This is hypothetical. They reach out to you. We need you to come up with 3 new ducks. It could be anything you want. You don't have to worry about licensing or proprietaries or anything like that. We need you to come up with 3 new ducks. What 3 ducks are you coming up with?
Well, so I got 2 different answers.
Okay.
There's the wrong answer, which is I say we take sponsorships. Okay, we have the Monster Energy duck, we have the Ray-Ban sunglasses duck, and then we've got the NASCAR full of more sponsorship jersey duck. That's the wrong answer, but that pays. But the other answer is really difficult because I don't actually know what ducks aren't there. We have an RGB like gaming PC duck already, right? So that's cool.
Yeah.
I would probably put an actual flamingo duck, like just a tiny version of the flamingo, or maybe a smaller version that can fit 1 duck inside of it. And so if it lands on top of it, then it captures that 1 duck until it gets deflated or something.
Okay.
So there'd be the mini flamingo. Huh. That's a hard one. We have all sorts of different good ducks. If interconnected stuff would happen, I would probably like to see some of my like favorite characters from video game franchises. So I'd want like a Master Chief duck or something, or Legend of Zelda duck, where it's just Link. But if we're nixing that, hey, what's this duck? Oh, it's a goopy looking duck. Weird.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at that one. I don't even know what to categorize that as.
A turtle duck, which I think is actually in Avatar: The Last Airbender. But I mean, like just a duck that's got the turtle shell and is a turtle in duck form, but not a turtle duck. And then let's see. So mini flamingo, turtle duck. What else would I do? There's probably already a duck with a headset on.
You want cat ears. You want a cat ears duck.
I mean, there's a cat duck. I feel like that's good enough. Maybe a mouse duck, actually. A mouse duck or a VR headset duck. Those will be...
A VR duck, yeah. I like that.
I think I'll go for VR duck. So, mini flamingo, turtle duck, VR duck. Those will be my 3.
Okay. You ready? You ready for mine?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. First one. You're nothing. You're nothing. No talent. That's going to be his quacks.
Who the
quack are you? Who the duck are you? So that's number 1. For those of you who don't know in the audience, go on YouTube and type in trumpet guy. All you have to type in trumpet guy and click the first video, and you'll get it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who do know, proud of you. Second duck. Second duck. Oh my God! I can't go anywhere.
Mobility duck.
Mobility duck. So next, go ahead and type in Mobility Mary after you're done looking at trumpet guy, and then you'll understand the second duck. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, again, I'm proud of you. So we've got you're nothing and oh my God. And then I'll go for an easy one. Well, wrong. You're wrong.
Trump duck.
I'm the best duck ever. Ask anyone. I mean, that's a slam dunk right there. You give him silly little Trump hair.
Yeah.
Maybe a Diet Coke on one flipper. I don't know.
A red tie that goes further than the duck. Tiny wings.
Yeah. So that's that. I'll make an easy one for the audience, but for those of you who are in the know on the deep lore on memes, I'm gonna look at trumpet guy. And you know what? I'm gonna do a fourth one. I'll do a bonus one. You're gonna like this one.
Okay.
Did I just do that?
My God.
Just do that. With my freaking mind.
You have to say it like 5 more times, though.
Oh yeah. Did I just do that?
Oh, we did that. Did I just do that? We did that. God. Oh man.
Guys, it's
more writers that I would fire.
It's over for modern gaming, guys. If that's considered high tier writing made by Square Enix, it's over. Well, it's absolutely over.
I think we can say that Square Enix probably put all of their writers in the new Final Fantasy and forgot to put actual writers for spoken.
Imagine if somebody in Final Fantasy says, "Did I just do that?"
They just make a bunch of references to the other game.
I'm sure a lot of the audience probably knows what Forspoken is, but
just in case,
it's the most Zoomer cringe peak like Marvel humor. I'm not trying to insult anyone, but like it is so bad. It's basically take somebody who think of anybody in your life audience, anybody that's ever annoyed you in any way. That's pretty much the main character. It's this scumbag, annoying character that's just mean to everyone and is just unbearable to listen to. There's a point where she like kills something with a spell, And she stops, looks, and goes, did I just do that? Did I just do that? And you know, like those soy jack memes of the guys with the big, like, mouth? Like all those soy memes, that's basically what the writing is. It's basically lowbrow Zoomer, peak Marvel humor, and it just makes me want to gag. And
if you don't know what the soy jack memes are, refer to the thumbnail.
Yes, those are exactly those. Hey, I didn't even look at us going full circle. I didn't even acknowledge that. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's deep, ladies and gentlemen. That's deep lore. That's the deep lore of these videos. What you guys don't understand is that basically this channel is one big ARG. And these videos are but one part of the ARG lore that is Whiskey Wallace. So there you go. Nice little behind the scenes there. But yeah, so those are my 3+ bonus. Did I just do that, Duck?
Now, I'm not entirely sure on how many of the viewers are actually just like hardcore gamers that would know all of this stuff, because the Duck videos are by far the ones that have the most, the ones that have drawn in the most subs and views. So if this game is kind of weird, but I don't think it's the same group of people. It might be. I could be completely wrong. I have nothing else to base that off of besides the other games that I make, or the videos that I make with games. I don't know what the overlap is, but it could be very, for how much we talk about games, who knows, is really what I'm trying to say.
Well, for you non-gamers, for you well-adjusted members of society who aren't critical gamers and have a extreme obsession with gaming like we do.
Critical game theory.
Critical game theory. That's evil. You know what? I just realized I was thinking of that as like the hello internet. Today we're thinking about game theory. I wasn't thinking of the others.
That's why it's evil. Okay, it's not evil because of what I was actually referencing.
No, that's why I said it was evil, because of hello internet. Welcome to my Placid plastic game theory.
Welcome to plastic duck theory.
You should. I want to beat him up in the street. If I ever saw him in the street, we're fighting solely based on him giving the Pope Undertale. For those of you who are not gamers, I'm not gonna listen. This freaking guy, this one YouTuber, who I don't even know if he's popular anymore. There was a time.
Oh, dude, he's got 4 channels that are pretty big.
Oh, okay. He's still. So there was a time back then, like when Five Nights at Freddy's and all these other games came out, and he's just wheeling and dealing all these game theories that were mostly bullshit. But that's besides the point. For some godforsaken reason, that's an apt statement too, because a bunch of these YouTubers got invited to the Vatican. Once in a lifetime opportunity that many people not get to experience. Got to go to the Vatican and meet the Pope. And typically when you're invited to the Vatican, it's customary throughout centuries to have a gift for the Pope as a sign of goodwill. And this fucking guy decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and give him a Steam digital copy of Undertale, a dumb indie video game from 2015. I'm going to give him a digital copy, not anything meaningful in life or symbolic of where he's from. I'm going to give him a digital video game. And he was like, he made a YouTube video, like justifying giving this very influential leader in the religious sect of the world. That's
in the world in general.
In the world, not just religion, but just in general. Like this has been something that's been existed for centuries. And this fucking guy has the opportunity to meet the Pope, and he gives him a fucking digital video game, and he's like, I knew that when I gave him this, it would be a good way to remember gamers. And it makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach thinking about that. And so
you guys probably know game theory, style theory, food theory, film theory. It's MatPat. There's no need to hide it.
He's famous. He'll never know who I am. So I could say it, he's a loser for that one. He's just, come on.
I guess I'll have to dox you now.
You gotta meet the Pope, and you give him a freaking. What is he gonna do? He's gonna go on the Vatican computer and play Undertale during Mass. Is that what's going on?
the Pope computer.
Yeah, the official Pope computer. He's got his own Steam account, Pope Francis 420. Come on.
Jesus wear.
The fact. the fact that he made a YouTube video justifying it, I think a lot of people were like, dude, are you insane? Because I think other YouTubers, did Markiplier go to that?
I don't think he was part of that.
There are a bunch of other YouTubers that like had legitimate, tangible things that they gave this guy. Like,
yeah, they're probably just following regular customs, but
yeah, this freaking jabroni's like, yeah, I'm gonna give him a digital Steam copy of a video. Like, did he give him a piece of paper with a download code? That's what I'm trying to like think about. Like, was it just like, here's a bunch of numbers, go on Steam,
yeah, right.
enter this down. It is. It makes me. The
here's
more I think about
16,
it,
16 Unicode characters. Go pop them into your Pope Francis Steam account.
Guys, listen, it's over. It's over for us, guys.
That was certainly an interesting thing. But you said you'd beat him up in the street. He works out. I don't think he'd actually win.
You don't think I'd win? He works out now?
I think he's been working out, but he's a tall, fit guy.
I would tell him that his Five Nights at Freddy theories are wrong, and then he would start crying, and then I'd use that opening to win. This guy made a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's videos. I'm just gonna randomly dunk on this guy for a minute. I'm sorry. He made a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's videos, and he was like, my theories are sound and backed up with evidence and lore. And the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's literally responded, no, you're wrong. And he like had a big meltdown. He's like, no, you can't say that. Like, I've done everything right. I followed your lore. You can't do that. And he like legitimately had a meltdown on Twitter. It was very, very curious to see.
Yes, MatPat has earned the ire of many. For a lot of people, just don't like his voice. They just don't like how he sounds.
Internet.
I enjoy watching the videos and seeing what he has to say about a lot of things. But it's always important to keep it in mind that it's just a theory.
A game theory.
Not something worth getting super upset about. Though the Pope thing was a little weird. I understand what he wanted to do, but I think he still did it wrong to say that I'm going to represent the gaming community by giving the Pope Undertale, because Undertale, you have literally the duality of man. You can either be a perfect pacifist and save the world, or you can go and kill everybody who was in your wake. Or God, no, those aren't the right words. You can go ahead and leave a wake of destruction. It's up to you, and that the story that it can tell, blah blah blah. He had a whole thing about it, the whole video. Go watch it if you want. But it was still a weird choice, and to pick like an indie Steam game that earned a lot of hype for being interesting and having a baller soundtrack.
Soundtrack is pretty good, yeah.
It was a hell of a choice, and a very hard thing to defend. And you know what? I think he knew that when he was going to make that video too. I think he knew that he was going to get so much hate attention, because MatPat is a clickbaiter. Everything he makes is clickbait. He is the most clickbaity thing. And I understand it works. Any clickbait title I have does way better. And by way, I mean like by 10 views, because that's kind of where I'm at, than any of my other videos. Just the clickbait alone seems to draw people in more. And so that's what he does. The thumbnails, never try this, because that's how it goes. But yep, it's a thing, that's for sure.
Listen, MatPat is more wealthy and more successful as a YouTuber than I will ever be. So, clearly he's the winner, but all I'm saying is I never gave the Pope Undertale. So really, guys,
who's the real
I'll let
winner?
You be the judge on who really won, okay? But yeah, so anyway, I don't want to harp on this guy anymore, because it just I get it's exhausting.
My blood pressure goes up. I just
MatPat. All right, so I'll give you another hypothetical.
Okay.
This is the hypothetical episode, kind of. It's also TV, but you have to make a sequel to this game. Lucas, our first game was such a huge success. We're going to make a direct sequel. We need you to put one innovation in this game to separate it from this first one? What are you gonna put in that we can market?
The ability to manually activate the ability of the duck. So if you're the clown duck or the firefighter duck, you can activate the water blast, or if you're the chameleon duck, you can just reset, because that's really all you can do. Let's see. There's not a lot of ducks that you can do things with. The shark duck or the submarine duck, you can dunk underwater and then release to shoot back up. Yup. Or maybe add more abilities to the ducks. Maybe something like that.
If you had to make another stage, what would the stage be?
A lake.
Just a lake?
Yeah, because we got a pool on this map. We've got a pool on the Alpine map. I would put a lake. A lake like with a little waterfall. What?
A Loch Ness duck?
Oh, lake. Yeah, because the Alpine one has a big mammoth duck frozen.
Is there a way to defrost that, by the way, or is it just there?
I'm not sure.
To look into that.
But yeah, I would do a lake with a Duck Ness monster.
Duck Ness monster.
Also with like there'd be one of those, I don't know what they're called, but like the Japanese like water thing. It fills up with water, and then once it gets full, it falls down and goes tok. It'd be one of those on the map, and it would have the little waterfall that the ducks go over, kind of like the slide. And instead of having a big whatever vacuum tube like this does, there'd be a kind of like a reverse water wheel conveyor belt thing where the ducks get pulled back up to the main pond. That's what I would do for a third map or an extra map.
I would do a Silent Hill map.
It's just foggy.
Just foggy, and you can have like character ducks. Like you can have a James Sunderland duck and a Heather duck and a Henry duck and maybe a Pyramid Head duck too. And you know, maybe we'll get Akira Yamaoka to compose the songs on the radio or just reuse songs.
That just sounds like a crossover DLC.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, what's the team? I keep referencing this team. I don't even know what the team is that made this game. Whoever you are, if you're listening to this video, and I know you are, because this is the one-stop shop for Placid Plastic podcasts, crossover DLC.
Let me look at the store page real quick. Turbo Lento.
Turbo Lento? Call me, okay? I've got a mountain of ideas to really take you to the next level, okay? Just saying. All right. Anime. Lucas, for those of you who don't know, is the anime guy. I am what you call vanilla when it comes to anime. I'm just going to say it straight up. My favorite anime is Dragon Ball Z. So there you go. I mean, that right there already explains like how deep I am into anime. I mean, I've seen a couple of the popular ones. I've seen Demon Slayer. I've seen One Punch Man. I've seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. But if you really want to go into like deep anime knowledge and experience, Lucas is your guy. So with that being said, give me some anime hot takes.
Some anime hot takes. Well, I mean, we know the base one. I think Dragon Ball Z is pretty overrated. I know it's got some cool stuff, right? The action, when it's action, is sick. The build-up is awesome. The problem is the pacing. And I know we have Dragon Ball Z Kai. Dragon Ball Z Kai is not good enough. There's still too much garbage just crammed in. Like there's too much of, let's cut away and see what this person thinks about this. And maybe that's probably what's actually in the manga. But like, I don't want that. I don't care about that. I don't need you to say, oh my God, he powered up again. Like, no, we all know he powered up again because he keeps powering up every 5 seconds. Oh, he's just gone strong. Oh, he hit Super Saiyan. Cool. Oh, he unlocked Super Saiyan 2. Oh, wow, look, he's got Super Saiyan 3. Oh, look, he's got Super Saiyan Blue. Oh, look, he's got Super Saiyan God. Oh, look, he's got Ultra Instinct. Oh, look, like, stop it. Knock it off.
This is what Julius Caesar felt like when he got stabbed several times by his friend. This is what's going on right now.
No, yeah, it's just it's too much of the same damn thing. If you want to have cool stuff with growth, you should have just stopped while you were ahead. You should not like cut it off, but you should have stopped on the super growth. It's just, oh, this guy is so overwhelmingly strong. Dragon Ball had it right. Look, you're a child. You're going to learn some techniques and how to manage your ki and become a better fighter. You're going to learn to be a better fighter. Like, cool, he's the best fighter now. No, that's not good enough. He needs to be an alien of monkey people that turn into, well, I mean, the whole race turns into giant apes when the moon comes out, and then they can achieve strength by getting beat up horribly. Why? Is it just to make it so that you can repeat the same thing? He's gonna fight an enemy, that enemy's gonna kick his ass, he's gonna be like, oh no, I need to get stronger, but I don't have sensu beans, which I should always have, or I'm going to use them like an idiot. Oh, I just had a whole big fighting bout, time to use the sensu bean. Like, why don't you save those for when you're actually doing something? Oh, it's the end of the world. Let's go get some sensu beans. Something stupid happens. Oh, I don't have my sensu beans on me anymore. Like, yes, of course you don't, because they're too convenient. You shouldn't have even made them a thing. It's just so much that does not keep it on top. So many reasons that it shouldn't be the greatest anime to so many people. It should be a good anime, and I agree. And like we were saying about a lot of the cartoons and stuff watched growing up, there's so much nostalgia associated with it. But that doesn't mean that it's good. And a lot of the writing isn't great. It's fine, but it's not great. And I'm not even going to watch Super because of the pacing is just not, it's no better. It's just as bad.
You know that scene in Star Wars Episode 3 when Order 66 happens, and there's that one scene of that one Jedi, I think it's Ki-Adi-Mundi, when he's running with the clones. He says, come on, and the clones stop and turn their guns on him and gun him down. That's what you just did to me.
Yep.
I was like, let's talk about anime. And you said Dragon Ball's trash and gunned me down. Oh, no.
Oh, you want to hear part 2? I feel the same way about Naruto.
This is just betrayal after betrayal. Look, I'm not going to deny Dragon Ball and Naruto are very lowbrow, like not very complicated anime to watch. I got the enjoyment out of what I wanted with them. Naruto I watched with my roommate at the time, so it was more of an experience because my roommate grew up with Naruto, so it was more him just kind of sharing that nostalgia with me, which was nice. But I won't lie. I mean, obviously, if you want a deep anime, Dragon Ball is like at the very, very, very bottom of deep anime. It's very simple shonen. That being said, I will always love it no matter what Lucas says. Okay. On the flip side, you know, I am not an anime guy. I am not deep into it like Lucas is. So, you know, we've had conversations in the past where Lucas explains an anime to me, and you know, he's going on and on about it, and I just kind of my eyes start to glaze over because I'm just like, his taste in anime are wildly different than mine, and that's okay.
Yeah, I like good anime, and then David likes this other stuff.
This is betrayal of the highest order. Now, obviously, you can't deny that Dragon Ball, despite all its faults, has had probably the most major impact of an anime of all time.
Of course,
the amount of mangakas, as they're called, or mangakas, or however you pronounce them, my apologies, have directly referenced Dragon Ball as their inspiration. I mean, all your favorite anime audience, whether it's One Piece or Demon Slayer or whatever anime is popular on Netflix, 9 times out of 10, the author will say Dragon Ball is their source of inspiration. Even One Punch Man starts off with a Dragon Ball parody. So Dragon Ball in itself, you could argue Dragon Ball walked so anime could run. And of course, there were anime that came out before Dragon Ball. Fist of the North Star was considered the grandfather of all shonen. Which, by the way, if you want to watch an extremely depressing anime, watch Berserk and Fist of the North Star. That's basically, oh, do you like this character? Yeah, they're dead now. uh, and but yeah, no, I mean, I get where Luke's is coming from with Dragon Ball, but I just love it too much for very vanilla reasons. I love the action. I love the transformations. As stupid, somebody said, I read online the other night, Dragon Ball's gotten to the point where transformations are spilling a box of crayons and picking which color you want the next transformation to be. I think that's very true, because here's a fun fact for you guys in the audience. The reason why Super Saiyan is yellow is because when he was making the manga, yellow is, since it's black and white, you don't have to color in hair if it's not black. So he got tired of coloring Goku's hair all the time, so he turned it yellow so that he wouldn't have to color it anymore. So that's the whole reason why Super Saiyan is yellow, is because he didn't want to color it in. So that's a little deep lore for you guys. What's another anime hot take that maybe more hardcore fans of anime would disagree with you on?
Well, like gamers, weebs also have just bad taste. Well, that too. They're just they'll complain about the dumbest things, but I'd have to think a little harder, because I've seen so much and I've heard so many takes about so many things. Black Lagoon wasn't very good either. A lot of people really liked that one, but that one just like season 1 was fine, but it didn't actually resolve anything, and season 2 just was too boring to start. Okay. I have one in the inverse thing. A lot of people in My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia, there's this sequence, I think it's season 3, where there's these essentially they're Yakuza, they're mobsters, and they're underground because they've kind of been pushed back because they're not like a super villain agency like the League of Villains. So Chisaki, I think, is the big enemy there. There's their whole plot line. I'm not going to explain it, but there's a big fight of main character Deku and Chisaki, and it's fucking cool. It's sick. It's badass. It's everything you wanted it to build up to be, and that's halfway through the season. The second half of the season is like this more slice of lifey. It's a step back. It's the school festival thing. They're putting it together. Regular I want to be hero cheese is thrown in there, so take that with what you will. But a lot of people that I've talked to stopped watching because the big action thing already happened, and they're like, "Oh, I'm done with this now because this is boring and kind of not fun." But I think that's just shallow in my mind. And I know you could probably say the same thing about how I feel about Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, but the tone down, the step back, the allowing everyone to breathe for a minute, I think is absolutely necessary in order to maintain the proper pacing and development of the characters and the story. And I think that's what it did, and it did a good job. So a lot of people haven't even seen the more recent season. I haven't finished the more recent season, but it's a roller coaster. My God, it's so cool. I loved it. I thought so far what I've seen is really interesting, really cool. They speed things up in a way that is absolutely necessary, and leaving that there should only be like 1 or 2, at most 3 seasons left before the show is done. And I sincerely hope that's the case. I'm not following the manga, so I don't know if it's even done yet, but there doesn't need to be any more after this next bit finishes up, because it's hitting that point. Like the end all of alls is ending all,
Oh, is it basically gearing up to the end? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like everything's pointing towards we're gonna finish this off in one more go. So they better fucking do that.
Did they ever kill off main characters in this show?
It's hard to say, especially without spoiling anything. There's some moments where you're like, oh shit, did that just happen? And I think those things did happen, but for the most part, almost everybody just goes in the hospital and recovers. They do kill people though. Like people, they're not afraid to just kill mass amounts of citizens, because they've been doing that.
Well, that's one thing, but I'm talking like important side, because I'll give Naruto this. The problem with Dragon Ball, and one problem is death is literally nothing in Dragon Ball.
It doesn't exist.
But in Naruto, there have been fan favorite characters that have died like forever. So I'll give them that they aren't afraid to kill off characters that people have and have been there for a long time. And I was wondering if that's what My Hero does, if they've killed off like side characters or maybe more prominent characters that they've killed off. I don't know.
They've definitely had characters that you probably don't expect to have things happen. Oh, they pretended to. Well, okay, yeah. See, this is going to spoil the most recent season, and I think it's too early, even though it's been finished for like half a year now, to start spoiling. So I'm not going to say too much more about it. But they have some good moments and some things that, while may not be as impactful as killing a character off, the actions of the other characters are still kind of shocking in a way.
Okay.
So that is there, and I think that's a pretty good thing. The lukewarm take on that was that the season with the school festival part was necessary and mattered, and I think a lot of anime failed to have that breath of fresh air. I'd say Bleach did a horrible job. One of the reasons I stopped watching Bleach when I was younger, I picked it back up and watched 90% of it afterwards, but it was just exhausting. Like, there's this area called Hueco Mundo in the afterlife world, the Spirit Soul Society or whatever. There's these different sections, and they were just there the whole time, and there was no breaks. It was just always dark, always black and white, no color. And it just felt hopeless the whole time. Even though they were making progress, it still felt bad. And so I just got very exhausted from watching it, which is probably why I didn't actually finishing it. But watching the new season, the 1,000 Year Blood War, and then just the second half just started now, was so damn good. Oh my goodness. This 1,000 Year Blood War first season, which aired, I think, 2 or 3 seasons ago, was sick. The action was everything you want it to be. It was all of the good parts of Bleach condensed into a single 12 or 13 episode season. And now season 2 just started, and I'm expecting it to be very much the same. It was so satisfying.
Okay. That Flamingo has not come back, by the way. I've been watching.
He did.
Hell, he did.
Didn't even get to come back into didn't even get to come into the pond.
Well, why don't we wrap it up with a duck head count?
Yes, now's a good time. Well, I did the last one, so it's up to you.
Yes, let me get to... Whoa, I just saw a wacky looking duck down below. Hold on, let me find my duck and go from there. I don't even know what that duck down in the jacuzzi is, that wireframe looking one. That's wild.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's a polygon duck or wireframe duck.
All right, let me get to me. There's so many ducks in the kitchen. All right. So last time we left off, there was the blue starry duck, the polka dot duck, the plant duck, and then the night duck killer of flamingos, the negative duck, and now, okay, it looks like after that is a granite duck.
Oh yeah, like black golden marble.
Yeah, marble granite, if you will.
Oh, you know what? It's probably there's this art of I don't think it might be Japan. I think it's China though. Of cracked glass, they fill in with a gold. I don't know if it's actual like solid gold that they fill in the cracks with, but like shatters, they fix that way. Either that or it's just lightning picture, but I doubt it's that. Gotcha. That's probably what that is.
All right. Well, learn something new every day. And then we've got Nickelodeon Slime Duck. And then we've got, after him, the Christmas Elf Duck. Then we've got Shark Duck with a creepy mouth.
Oh, we've got Shark Duck and Lava Duck.
Oh, you should be... that's good. That's good. We got that makes me sick. We got Wire Duck, and then we've got what on earth?
Oh, it's like a playing card king duck.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
It's Duck of Spades.
Then we got Child's Drawing Duck.
Oh, I like that one.
Then we got another Russia nesting duck, and then we're back at the watermelon. So how do I see the duck counter?
Hover over the fill-up meter. We're at 46.
46. So it looks like next time we're gonna hit the 50s.
Hell yeah! And maybe we'll probably have the flamingo back because we'll have to close and restart the game.
Sounds good to me. Well, take us home, Lucas.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching or listening tonight. Hit like, subscribe, ring the bell, I guess. And hopefully we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Keep your eye out and take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
And we'll see you in the next one.